I went through a phase, and when I say phase, 2 years of not opening my curtains in my bedroom in case I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. I know that sounds deep, but it's true. Confidence is something that I always struggled with growing up. At the time, I had no idea why. Whether it was meeting people, speaking to people, on the football pitch, I just had no confidence. Confidence is just something I didn't have growing up, and at the time, I didn't know why. I used to get bullied on the football pitch, pushed off the ball too easily. Clothes didn't fit me right. I remember distinctly when Top Man was in fashion, I couldn't even fit into the extra small, and it just used to chew me up, like eat me alive. And I just didn't like what I saw in the mirror. And at the time, I wasn't really sure why I was feeling like that. I didn't know it was a confidence thing. I didn't really know at the time that I was shy. It's just the way that I was. And because I was so shy, I hid behind self-deprecating humor because I didn't really know how else to act. Something needed to change. And at the time, I didn't have a clue what that was. So at some point around 15, 16, 17, my parents got me a personal trainer. I'd never been in the gym before. I didn't know why I was going really. I didn't really want to go at the time, but I stuck with it. Parents were paying for it, so I ended up going. I started to enjoy it. And from that, a little glimmer of self-belief started to show. I'd previously given up football for a period of time. I went to a football college and I essentially got told that I was too small and I wasn't getting picked for the team. And that killed my confidence even further. So I gave up the one thing that at the time I loved. The one thing that I would just want to do all the time was play football. I gave it up, but after a little bit of time with the PT, I got back into football, playing Sunday league. A mate asked me out of the blue, do I want to come and play for his team? And I was like, yeah, why not? So I did. I started noticing things changing on the football pitch. I wasn't getting pushed off the ball quite as easy. And this isn't to say I all of a sudden got massive. I definitely wasn't. But I noticed that my strength was actually paying off a little bit more. So I got a little glimmer of hope, and then I challenged myself and went and played Saturday league football and almost to a semi-pro standard. And then I ruptured my ACL and had surgery on my knee, which knocked my confidence straight back down to zero. However, this ignited something in me that I hadn't felt before, and that was with the rehab side of things. All of a sudden, my injured knee and the rehab gave me purpose. I wanted to get back to being as strong as humanly possible so that that didn't happen again, and so I could get back playing football. I remember saying to myself, I'm gonna smash this rehab, and if my knee ends up going again, that's when I'll give up playing football. So I gave it everything I had. I honestly treated it like it was a full-time job. I then started to fall in love with the progress. I took progress photos of how far my knee would bend, of my squats, of everything, and I just was challenging and pushing myself. I got back to playing sport really, really fast, to the point where my surgeon was like, you probably shouldn't be playing squash at the moment. But I was playing squash because I was just hammering the rehab, and I loved it. I started to take an interest in the biomechanics side of things, the human body. And from that, it kind of snowballed into me doing a master's in sports therapy and then getting qualified as a PT alongside that. Again, my confidence was building and growing. And from what I was feeling, I wanted others to start feeling like that too. I quickly realized I didn't like touching people with the sports massage and the hands-on side of things with the sports therapy. And I wanted to pursue the personal training side of things. So that's what I did, because I knew that if I could feel a certain way, other people could too. I had, for the first time ever, energy, drive, purpose, motivation that I had never had before. And I wanted that for other people. So I set up my personal training business, and I started 6 weeks before the first lockdown, which in a weird way was a blessing in disguise later on down the line, but at the time it was the worst thing ever, another setback. I remember training from my garage throughout the whole COVID times, and throughout that time I had a little whiteboard that said, a setback is a setup for a comeback. So for the whole of the COVID period, I just went monk mode. I didn't know what to do with my time, so I just went in on learning, on building systems. I invested in mentorships, I invested in coaching, and I just went all in without really knowing at the time what I wanted to do, but I knew that I was onto something. And throughout that time, this is where Level Up Lean was born. And now I help hundreds of people just like you all around the world to level up with their physique, with their mindset, and with habits that last. I now have proven systems that fit into your life and not take away, meaning you don't have to rely on guesswork and going back to what you used to do when you were younger, when life was a bit different. Because what worked for you back then likely isn't the thing that's going to be working for you now, especially with less time, more responsibilities, family, work. Things are just different now, and you need something that fits in with the version of you now. And trust me, if a small, skinny, ginger kid like me with no confidence can change his life for the better, can change his lifestyle for the better, and make progress that I genuinely didn't think was even possible, then you can too. And if you want to find out more about working with me one-to-one, then drop me a message with the word lean or hit the link in the description below and I'll be in touch.